TGIF SuperTalk Mississippi. Thank goodness it is finally Friday. Thank you for tuning into Good Things. I'm your host, Rebecca Turner. We've got Rhino in the studio with us today. And Good Things wants to remind you, visit Mississippi.org is your online destination for all things travel in Mississippi. In fact, you could plan a vacation to Belmont, Mississippi, and stay the night in the Belmont Hotel. You could even explore the Tishomingo State Park or even see Belmont First Baptist Church, where our guest today on Good Things got his start in music. That's Mr. McAnally. He is a longtime member of Jimmy Buffett's Coral Reefer Band and a 10-time CMA Musician of the Year award winner. And he's got some new music coming out this summer that is inspiring and uplifting, which is very timely and a good thing. So welcome, Mac.
Hey, Rebecca, how are you doing?
I am not going to complain today. It is a Friday.
Well, I'm going to quote myself on the new song, Every Day is Once in a Lifetime, and this is one of those. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, let's jump right into your new album because you self-produced Once in a Lifetime, and I hear there's a unique story about how breakfast actually inspired this project.
Yeah, breakfast is a good thing in and of itself, but there's sort of a greasy spoon that I frequent here close to my house, and my good friend, Mr. Drake White, the country singer, just happened to be in the same restaurant in the same day because we have similar taste, as it turns out. And we're just making small talk because we weren't planning on seeing each other. But he said, "How are you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm doing great. Every day is once in a lifetime." And I didn't say it like with any big deal. I just rolled off my tongue, waiting to eat my sausage and biscuit. But Drake said, "Hey, we should write that. That's a song title." And I tend to just keep talking and not notice whether something has anything profound about it or not. But Drake hit pause on that for me, and I was like, "Yeah, you're right. We should write that." And we got together, and that's sort of the way that I live my life anyway. I do believe that every day is an opportunity to make your life better and make lives around you better. And I look at every day as once in a lifetime. But the fact that turned into a song that lifts me up, and I from what I'm hearing from people that have heard it, it makes them feel better too. That just makes that particular breakfast an especially good one.
Well, it's kind of neat just how sometimes things just move and happen in the right way, and it's perfect timing when you get some divine inspiration. I would call it that for the song "Once in a Lifetime," which led to your new album, Mac. So it seems like it is a mantra. This just once in a lifetime. That every day, is a once in a lifetime kind of moment. So how do you try to find and joy out of every day? Because not every day can be rainbows and butterflies, but every day, can have its positives if you look hard enough for them. So what are your daily sort of routines that bring you joy?
Well, the fact, Rebecca, that I get to call music my pursuit, my avocation, my job, or whatever you want to define it as, that makes me so lucky. I mean, I do my favorite thing on earth for a job, so I would be the last guy to ever complain about anything, because the way I see it, music is one of the only things in the world that can turn bad into good. As you say, not all days are sunshine and rainbows, but if you're involved in music, you can take your worst experience and turn it into a great song that can not only make your life better, but can lift up somebody else that went through the similar kind of cloudy day that you went through, and it becomes a shared experience, which that's sort of the heart of the blues, which Mississippians know a lot about the blues. It was invented there, and the blues can be very happy music because it is shared experience. The fact that your neighbor has gone through the good and bad just like you have makes you root for one another and see how we mean something to one another. We actually have use for one another. And I believe, of course, I'm from Mississippi, so I'm partial, and I'm a little bit prejudiced toward it in favor, but the fact that smaller communities, more tight-knit, like we grew up in, it's really easy to see that we need one another, that even people you wouldn't agree with about every little thing in the world, we are of use and of benefit to one another.
I couldn't agree with that more, Mac, and that's what we try to do here on Good Things is highlight the best of Mississippi because it's absolutely everywhere that you look. And your song, Once in a Lifetime, to me, it means a lot because every day here on the show, it's a moment to sort of pause and focus on something good or positive and that can bring you joy or laughter, even if it's just for a little bit to break above some of the noise that's going on in the other mainstream news, which is, I think, is one thing that so many people turn to music for. Now, as a songwriter, what other maybe unique ways has inspiration struck you for a song? Because I hear maybe a book or a novel led to some creative writing for you.
Yeah, it's true. I was asked to take part in an art exhibit that was called Trio, where they took literary artists, some novelists, and they got music artists to read that book and then write a song as an impression of that book. And then they had a visual artist, either a sculptor or a painter, read the same book and interpret that visually. And I was given a novel written by a fellow who lived in Mississippi part of his life. A fellow named Harrison Scott Key wrote a book called The World's Largest Man. And it had a whole bunch of small town stories like I lived in Belmont growing up. And it just sort of awakened the little kid in me, I think, a little bit. And I took my impression from his book and a little guitar lick that I've been playing my whole life while I'm changing strings, and put those two things together. And even though I am not anywhere near a child at this point, I have the mentality of about a 7-year-old. And I put those two things together and wrote the first song on that song that opens the album is called Alive and In Between, and it is sort of Harrison wrote a great book, and I have to give him some credit for waking up some of my old stories from my childhood in Belmont. But all of that worked out really well. I'm happy about that.
Are you happy about that, as well as the crux of the album, Once in a Lifetime, really does play into today's times, Mac? But I have to say, another song of yours that was released in 1977, and I wasn't there when it was first released, so forgive me for that. I'm not quite that mature in age, but someone in our SuperTalk family came to me and said that one of your titles in 1977 could be the anthem of 2020. Can you guess which one I'm talking about?
It's just going to be a wild guess, but the very first song that I released was called It's a Crazy World.
Yep, and the lyrics go, but if I live here and if you can hear me singing, so do you.
So do you. And, I probably wasn't right about many things when I was 16 years old and wrote that song, but I think I may have got that one right on the head.
Yes, it is a timeless song. I can say that. I heard it for the first time today as our friend was playing it for me, and I thought, man, it feels like McAnally wrote that for year 2020 and sort of beyond. But Mac, when is the last time that you've got the chance to visit Belmont or Mississippi in general?
I get to go there quite a bit. My recording studio is still in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, which is about 30 minutes from Belmont. So we go down there and do holidays every year. But my baby sister still lives in the house where I grew up. Hey, Lisa, if you're listening. Probably, I'm going to say 4 or 5 times a year I get to Belmont. And it's funny. They talk about people talk about having beer goggles or whatever. But when I go there, I still see it exactly the way that I saw it in the 60s when I was growing up. There's, some of the convenience stores that are there now that weren't then. I don't even know if I really see them or not. I still see kind of a Norman Rockwell picture of the little town that I grew up in. And the people there are just wonderful folks that, like I say, understand that we have a use for one another. So everybody gets along pretty well. And it just makes me smile. It was sort of Mayberry, I guess, similar to the Andy Griffith kind of upbringing that I had there. I had a great family, so I look forward to any chance to go. And last year more than normal, but usually 4 or 5 times a year.
Well, I think people are going to fully enjoy Once in a Lifetime, your new album, Mac, out. And I know we want to support you. So how can we support what you're doing? I don't know if you're able to tour or we're able to see you in person or what that looks like post-COVID-19. But where can we at least download and get a jump start on your new music?
Well, the actual song Once in a Lifetime is the only thing that's released at this point. We're going to put out one track a month until the full album comes out on July 31st. And actually on the 18th of June, we're going to stream me live from my little studio in Muscle Shoals with my bandmate from the Coral Reefers, Mr. Eric Darkin, percussionist. He and I are going to play together down there, and a live stream show, because we can't play full shows yet, but we intend to before too long. And the full album gets released on July 31st, and you'll be able to get that anywhere you get music. And I just want to say to anybody that within the sound of your voice, I would never say go buy my record, but because I'm from Mississippi and most of your listeners are, there's some stuff on there that'll probably tickle your brain a little bit, because there's a few things that you sort of have to be from Mississippi to get, and I got a couple of those in there, I believe.
Well, the next time you're in Mississippi, come visit, Mac.